I've been involved in I Will No More for a while now. I've been to a few protests and sort of been, I don't know more. And I've been sort of, throughout my involvement, I've been talking to lots of people who have been involved more in depth than I have. So I wrote this after a specific protest in Winnipeg that Stephen Harper, we were protesting outside a hotel that Stephen Harper was having a news conference at. His hands were on her body. Their hands were on their bodies even after someone pleaded for them to stop. Even after someone whispered for the victims to sing as if the power of song could peel his hands from her abdomen and etch its mark into his palms to forever remind him that what he was doing is wrong. They were in a public place, and so just to save some face, he had donned a police uniform that morning. The restraint of the bulletproof vest felt enough like a reaffirming pat on his chest to make him feel invincible. She felt invisible, while her own history was forced to become political, an elephant that was being pushed to the front of a crowded room after being left at the back for far too long. She felt invisible, even as she clawed at his vest, catching at and calling out this colonialist catastrophe. Why wasn't anyone listening? Her words disappearing into the deafening crowd of irony, tyranny, and of blistering apathy. This is my home! This is my home and you are a settler. She felt invisible, although she knew wrong from right, tyrannical from admissible, she still lost track of every syllable. And when she returned home, she cried tears that were not her own. They fell like rose petals into her tomato soup before blossoming into the faces of Mona Lee Wilson, of Wendy Crawford, of Simone Sanderson, and of Jane Doe, and of Jane Doe. The comments on the Free Press that evening harken back to a time of absolute segregation. They hung like dead fruit flies to their bigotry with no hopes of persuasion, already long gone but still groaning about tax evasion. They grumbled as if tossing spitballs to a distant nation halfway around the world, stealing pennies from the wells that only the white man could build, persistently perpetuating this colonialism that we have grown to love. They seemed no longer to understand that we are not talking about Kampala or Dar es Salaam. They seem not to understand that no longer are we talking about Sao Paulo or Mexico City. We are talking about downtown Winnipeg, downtown Edmonton, and downtown Vancouver. We are talking about 600 women stolen from the bosom of this once peaceful nation. Earlier that day, it was supposed to be a meeting about cyberbullying. But instead it became a lesson in racism-steeped collective bargaining. They've been betrayed again by the blackbird as she was sent to transform the sky into a blackboard, and from there transcribed the rules to collective bullying. 1, feel no sympathy. 2, ignore history. And 3, unite a country. Create a country united by bigotry. Her pedal-tier victims knew not the difference between their abusers and their bystanders. They cared not what moral standards may have kept people from acting, kept people from caring when they were stolen from their communities and from their families. And so from her soup bowl gazed up eyes that pleaded for a nation that refused to be bystanders. Thank you.